Hey, what's up? Scott Balcom here with Imagination Creation Films, and today we're testing lights, now and the future. So we're going to be setting up a test that all of us can participate in, and we can all share our results so we can all have some definitive numbers rather than just numbers of one or two items. And before we do that, I want to go ahead and ask that you click subscribe to this channel. And also, I do have a Patreon if you wish to support me that way. I really do appreciate it. It really does help me bring in all these kind of lights and such to test them all. So give me some Patreon love, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, so here's what I came up with. Everybody, all the manufacturers, people, all of that, they all do measurements on lights, but they're never the same. They're all trying to maximize what their light can do. So they'll say that the such and such light is equivalent to a 1K Fresnel or at 3 feet or 1 meter, but at 2 meters it's not, or at 3 meters it's not. So what I wanted to do was come up with a quick little standard that you could set up a light, get a light meter, you could test these lights at various conditions, and we would have the numbers. And that is what we're going to do today. And I'm just using a little Sekonic light meter here. We're just measuring lux. The reason we're measuring lux is because not everybody has access to a color meter or a color rendering meter or anything like that. So let's put temperature aside and just focus on how bright it is. So the way we're going to test this is, I already got this first light here. This is a 1.2K HMI with an Osram 1.2K HMI bulb in it. It's a Fresnel. It is a Chinese one, but it has an Osram bulb in it, so it's a 1.2K. And we're going to test it in wide and spot. We're going to test it on 3 different areas. So it's going to create a light pattern on the wall. We're going to test the middle, we're going to test the edge, and we're going to test between the two directly. Then we're also going to be testing that at 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, and 5 meters. So it is a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3 is 12 measurements that we're going to be doing. But by doing that, we'll all have an idea of what each light can do. So let's start with number 1. The first one we're going to be testing is, oh my dear Lord, this 1.2K HMI Fresnel over here. It is set to flood right now, and we're going to take a measurement at 1 meter, and we're going to call off 3 different measurements here. So the first measurement is 36,000 lux, and that is directly on the center. The next one is at the edge, and it's 2,600, and then we're going to split the difference. It is 14,000 lux. Okay, now we're going to 2 meters. Right here in the middle. Wow, this thing is super bright. 9,600 lux. Now we're going to go to the edge. $1,700 lux. And now we're going halfway between. 5,000 lux, and that is at 2 meters. Now we're going to 3 meters, right here in the middle. Again, this is flood. We're at 4,500 lux. We're going all the way to the edge. 800 lux, and halfway between. 2,200 lux. Now we're gonna go over here into, now we're going to go to full 5 meters. Right here in the middle, 1,600 lux. All the way off to the edge, 560 lux. And halfway between, 970 lux. So that is the measurement of the HMI 1.2K with an Osram bulb in flood. Now we're going to switch it over to spot and see how it does. Oh my dear Lord, I'm not looking at that, but this is super bright. So I'm going to call these numbers out. We're going to do this again. 1 meter. So that is your measurements of this 1.2K HMI And it is one hell of a powerful light, I'll tell you that much. That is pretty bright. The next test we're doing is the Arri 1K Fresnel. It's the standard Arri Fresnel fixture, and we'll be doing it at flood first. So at 1 meter, all right, next we'll go to spot. All right, we're at spot now. Woo! Right in the middle, 1 meter. And that's the 1K Fresnel on spot. All right, now we're gonna be testing the Arri 150 Fresnel tungsten. And this is at flood right now. We're at 1 meter. Now we're gonna go to spot. 1 meter, spot, 150 is. And that is the 150. All right, the next light we're gonna be doing is the open face Arri Light 750 with the, which bulb they call it, the 750 HID, but it's not a HMI, it's just it's a really bright tungsten. Yeah. So it doesn't have a Fresnel or anything, it's just open. So we'll measure it at 1, 2, 3, and 5. So here we are at 1 meter. And this is a really wide light. Also pretty bright in kill power. The next light we're testing here is the Arri 650 Plus Tungsten Fresnel, and we're doing it wide first at 1 meter. Light, or change it to spot. 1 meter in the middle spot. All right, the next light we're going to be testing, which is actually pretty bright, it's the Aputure 300D Mark II with its reflector on it. And so we'll only be taking one set of measurements. So at 1 meter, all right, the next one we're going to be doing is the Aputure 300D Mark II with the Fresnel 2X attachment on it, and we're at flood right now. It's not as wide as some of the other floods, but it's really bright. So let's get a measurement here. So 1 meter. All right, now we've moved it to spot. And we'll see what this is. At 1 meter. Next up, we have the Aputure 300D Mark I with the standard reflector on it. At 1 meter in the middle. All right, so this is the 2X Fresnel on the 300D Mark I, and we're doing the spot first because it's already set a spot. At 1 meter. Woo. Now we're doing it on flood. 300D Mark 1 on flood in the middle, 1 meter. So looking over all those lights that I've done the testing on, I mean, obviously it's not a perfect scientific analysis. There's no way to know exactly where the middle is, and you're not really understanding what the beam angles are, but it's a pretty good guesstimation. And doing it in that grid pattern, you get a really good feel for how the light falls off over distance. I will make that template available to anybody if they want it. I just kind of threw it together. I don't think it's the most beautiful thing on the planet, but it does its function. And I want you to start testing your lights the same way. And I want to just let's build a light database of real world measurements from real world people with real world lights. And let's share that knowledge, because that's what this community is about, sharing. So as always, if you have any questions or comments, do feel free to put them in the comment section down below. I do try to read and respond to each and every one, even if it's just to say thank you. I do have a Patreon or a PayPal if you wish to support me that way. I greatly appreciate it. Also, remember to click subscribe to this channel. We want you to be a part of this community. Especially, let's get involved. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. We can still be friends. And as always, as I like to leave it, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions.